Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany and I'm an expat living in Greece. And I get a lot of questions about what it is that I do for a living while I'm living in Greece. I did make a video about this a while back, but there are a lot of new people here and they probably haven't seen that, and my situation has changed a little bit. So we're going to talk about the things that I do now and a little bit about the things I used to do, because I know that some people are asking because they also maybe want to work as a digital nomad or come live in Greece so that they can travel around and do something similar like I do. So let's talk a little bit about what it is that I do for work now. I work remotely for two companies. One of those companies, I do content curation for them. Basically, I read articles and make decisions about whether or not the article is going to be promoted, what topics it needs to go to, whether or not it's technically okay for the site. I found that job on a remote website, like a remote job website, and applied. And I think like a week later, I got an email asking me to interview. I did have to do a test as a part of the application because this is more about doing a specific job rather than having like a ton of responsibilities. And I was hired pretty much immediately. It wasn't a long process. And that job is one of these jobs that's very part-time, and I can do so many hours up to a certain point and then I have to stop. And it is what they call a contract position in the US, so I don't get like my taxes taken out and I don't have any benefits. And so basically I'm self-employed while I'm working for them. Recently, I took what used to be sort of part of my old job back in Qatar. And yes, it's remote, but I am an archivist, and so I'm going to be doing the digital archives job from here in Greece for the university that I used to work for in Qatar, and basically processing all the digital photography and video for the archives of that university. It's an art and design school, so they create a lot of digital products. This is also a part-time job, but I'm actually an employee of the university this time, so I'm having things like taxes taken out. I don't get any benefits really, except for eventually, if I stay there long enough, I'll have vacation and sick pay. But it's still great for me because it's part-time, it's a job that I know very well, and I get to work with all the people I used to work with, so it's really great. A lot of people ask me, how do I get one of these remote jobs? And it's not as simple as, you know, you just find a remote job. A lot of it is that you have to have experience in the field that you're working in, even if it's remote. So fortunately, the content curation job, I have a lot of experience with making decisions about content, especially when it comes to writing. A lot of that is based on the fact that I have my own blog and I've done a lot of writing myself. So that was sort of what qualified me for that. I also have a very good breadth and depth of experience in a couple of different fields because I have 3 degrees because I love school. So that helped in that position. With the archives job, you actually have to have a master's degree in archives to become an archivist in most places, at least in the US. It's probably different in other countries. So I have a master's in library science with a specialty in archives. So that's how I got that job. And that job, of course, they contacted me. I didn't apply. It wasn't posted anywhere. So sometimes you can get jobs by who you know. And I would say that in the remote work field, that is very common. You have to let people know that you're looking for a remote job within your own industry, because even if the job is listed as remote and you apply, you may not get it because so many people want remote jobs, especially right now. And a lot of companies are turning to remote. You've got a lot of competition for a remote position, particularly if it's remote in which you don't have set times or set hours that you need to work. If it's flexible, then that's even more difficult to get. So the job that I do, the content curation job, I set my own hours. I work when I want. So if I want to get up at 3 a.m. and work, then I can. Or if I want to work on Sunday instead of Monday because I want to go do some weekend travel, I can. Now, both jobs are perfectly fine with me working from wherever I would like, so that's great. I just have to complete my hours. I do have a more set schedule with the university job because they need to be able to communicate with me during business hours. But if I had said, hey, I'm not going to be available this day because I'm traveling, so I'm going to work this day instead, they're fine with that as long as they have a heads up. As I mentioned earlier, I used to work sort of more freelance jobs. So I had the job doing content curation. I've done that job actually now for 3 years. And that was actually what allowed me to move to Greece because I didn't have a lot of remote experience before that. So it was helpful that I could get a remote job and move here. Along with the content curation job, before I got my old job back, it's not really my old job, but similar to my old job, I did a lot of freelance work, and it has kind of evolved over the years of me doing this because I've learned even though I can do what I want as a freelancer, there are certain jobs that I enjoy doing more than I do others. So in the beginning, I did do some website design, not like coding, even though I have taken a class in coding. I did more like WordPress customizations and making sure that websites were SEO friendly, which is search engine optimization, so basically for Google. And then I did some digital marketing, so I did like social media management and writing content for social media and for other people's blogs. Most of that was travel related. There are a few like expat things that I've done and some really one-off stuff that I've done. And a lot of that work has been like subcontracted, so I'm hired by the contractor that's been hired by the company, and then they hire me to do the work that they don't know how to do. I have learned that designing a website is not really something that I enjoy. It takes a lot of time, and it's a lot of back and forth with clients. And given that my clients are all in the US almost, that was really difficult to navigate. So that's something you want to think about. I've sort of shifted from doing design work for websites to just doing the SEO portion. I will do social media management if somebody had really asked me to, and I have a client who wants to hire me back to do some work on their website, and that's fine. I just don't want to start from scratch. I also now do a lot of content writing where I'm writing things specifically for SEO purposes, and I also do obviously still the SEO research. Now, while I have these two sort of very part-time but very together full-time jobs, I'm not taking on much freelance work because I do want to still enjoy my time in Greece. That's the biggest thing for me about working remotely, is that I want to be able to set my own hours. I don't want someone to say I have to be at my desk Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. That is the beauty of working for yourself and also working remotely. And that was because I knew that not just did I want to live in Greece, I want to travel around and see Greece and potentially go to other countries. So when you're considering this type of thing, you can't just take a remote job that's going to have you tied to a desk for a certain amount of hours if you're not prepared for that. And in the beginning, I didn't think that was for me. I thought that I really wanted a full-time remote position in which I would go to work every day and talk to people every day. And while there's some more stability to that, the problem is then you don't have the flexibility to travel around. So fortunately, I have two jobs that I have that flexibility and I can do that. Now, the job in Qatar is sort of temporary. So it may be that come after this job ends, I will be going back to doing the freelance work, which is fine because now I have a lot bigger client base and they know when I'm available and when I'm not. If you're looking to move to Greece, I would say that the biggest thing is don't expect to find a job here. First of all, the visa and the residence permit that I am on does not allow me to work in Greece. They don't want me taking a job away from a Greek person. And actually, for most people, if you're coming from the US or maybe the UK or Australia, the rate of pay is going to be much lower than what you're probably used to, so it may not be worth it for you. And also, they have to jump through a lot of hoops if they want to hire somebody who's non-EU, and it may take a long time for them to actually be able to hire you, if they can hire you at all. So I would say you need to come prepared that you're not going to be able to work here and that you have to find a remote job. or you've saved enough, or you're here to retire and you have your pension, and that's fine. Now, if you're a digital nomad and you just want to come for a couple of months because you're a remote worker and you want to run around Greece for a while, you can totally do that. Now, Greece is supposed to be coming out with a digital nomad visa. It's funny because I haven't heard like an official announcement that it's ready, but I have heard of people who have applied for it. I don't know any more information about it because it's not something that I am looking to apply for. The visa that I'm on is a little bit more stable than that, and it allows me to stay for a lot longer than that particular visa. I know a lot of you probably want to know, well, how do I get a remote job? So like, as I mentioned before, you need to look in your field. There are remote job websites that will list jobs, like a job board. I will list a few of those that I've used. There is a freelance platform that I use to find freelance work. It's called Upwork, and there are lots of them. I have been on Upwork for a long time, so I have a little bit more status on the website, and so it was easier for me to get clients. So if you start there, you may have to start out taking less money just so you can build up a reputation on the website so that you can get jobs that pay more. Because as I've been asked to apply for more jobs, I have upped my rate. Every time I've either been asked to apply for a job or I've applied for a job and I've already have some work on the platform, I've raised my rates. And that's just because working for yourself means you have to cover all your expenses. And in the US, that means you have to pay your income taxes and your Social Security, and you have to pay a self-employment tax, which is what the Social Security covers. I hope that answers your questions about what I do for work and gives you a little bit of an idea of how to work remotely or as a digital nomad. I mean, I could talk about this forever, but it's really something you have to do a lot of research for yourself before making that decision. If you have any questions about remote work, working in Greece, getting a visa for here, please let me know in the comments, and I'm definitely going to include a few links that I think will help you in the description box below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.